Warrior.
Resilient.
My favorite person.
Confident. Strong.
Resilient.
Real.
She started out as a softball player and then just fell away from it and then wanted to try something else, and we tried lacrosse. All her friends were playing lacrosse, and she got on the field and she enjoyed the kids.
And we all started as like little attackers with like our pink sticks. And then the next year we needed a coach, like my dad said, and he like volunteered.
And a goalie for the 6th grade team. So I asked her if she wanted to be a goalie for the 6th grade team, and put the equipment on her, and the first shot she took.
I got hit like right in the gut with the first shot.
And I thought she was crying, and I looked up and she was laughing. That was kind of fun. So she seemed to take to it from that kind of first practice, that first getting hit with the ball. So
I kept getting hit and I was like making saves without meaning to. And I was like, I don't want to do it again. I don't want to wear the pants. This sucks, like it's not fun. And then like the next day I was like, when's the next practice? Like I can't wait.
So it was around 8th grade, where her coach actually said, we see some talent there. She seems to love it and probably has some opportunity to, do something with it at the next level.
Considering what I wanted from a coach, I wanted to be able to talk really candidly about everything, specifically lacrosse. I'm a really blunt person and I don't like things being sugar-coated. One thing I've kind of learned and like structured as an athlete is like, if you're picking between me and somebody else to play, I'm gonna like give you no choice, right? It's gonna be all about my actions, right? So if I'll tell you something, I'm gonna commit to it, and I wanted a coach that was going to tell me what they thought and be consistent and follow through with that. And from like the first conversation I had with Jordan, I just kind of communicated in like the same way I did, to like have exactly what I felt I needed to be like the best version of myself. In just our like first meeting was really, really important.
It felt like a home run. We were looking to fill a goalie position, and she came in, and she's been a tremendous asset on the field, but also in the locker room.
She was awesome. Like I played midfield, so I was on the defensive end with her, and she just like wanted to get better every day. And it was just awesome being with someone who like wanted to be here, and her energy like wanted you to be here, like wanted you to work hard to then hopefully win a championship.
I wasn't going to like stop playing unless I couldn't move my arm, which probably would have been like the first sign of this is not a sports injury, because there was like a weekend in April where I couldn't move it, right? Like ice wasn't helping, ibuprofen wasn't helping, I was sleeping and like couldn't, like it was waking me up and keeping me from sleeping, and there was like one position out of like 100, and if I moved like a fraction of an inch, it would like totally set everything off, and I was so uncomfortable. So that week, like the day before I came down for a camp, I was at the gym with my trainer, and he was like, I have no idea what muscle group this is affecting. Like, you can do random things on random days. I have no idea what this could be. Like, take some time off. And I was like, okay. Came down to work at camp, immediately went to the training room. I was like, I just went to get treatment. Like I wanted to like game ready it, which is like ice compression. I was like, Vanessa, like I'm like so uncomfortable. Like it hasn't gotten any better. If anything, it's gotten worse. And she was like, that's so not right. Like why is, like she was like, since when? I was like, since like February I felt it. She was like, yep, no. So I'm gonna get you in with the team orthopedic. I was like, okay, thanks so much. Like let me know what I have to do. And she texted me, she was like, your appointment is set for this date. And I was like, okay, awesome. And Vanessa just sorted it out, which I'm just like so grateful for, because had I not transferred, not had these resources and these people, like kind of terrifying what the outcome would have been.
I saw Maddie in my office in Tinton Falls with her father, and she was complaining of some weakness in her shoulder. And I did an examination and saw that she had a lot of swelling in the back of her shoulder blade, and there were certain motions she couldn't do, and her muscles were weak.
I did the x-ray in the office, and then he saw there's a little shadow. And he said, that might be, you got a tear in the labrum and you got something in there calcified, we'll assist or whatnot, we'll take a look at it. He said, but you know what, I want to get an MRI, we'll send you for an MRI. So we went for the MRI on July 1st. And it was July 3rd, we're sitting downstairs, and Maddie comes downstairs with her phone in her hand. She says, Dad, it's Dr. Torp. Okay, and her hand's shaking. I'm like, okay, this can't be good. And then he went on to say, you know, he said, I don't make this call on a holiday weekend, but I got to tell you, what they found in the MRI is a fairly sizable 10-centimeter mass on her shoulder blade. And we're like, holy smokes.
So I've been in practice for 28 years, and Madi is the 5th case that I've seen like this. It's usually in a young, healthy sports person who thinks that they've had some type of injury. There are certain things you look for, and when you see the type of swelling that she was experiencing and the changes on her x-rays, it takes it to a different level.
There's 4 things that could be happening here. It could be this sarcoma, that sarcoma, lymphoma, or an infection, right? This could be any one of those 4, so let's calm down. And then when we got the biopsy back, I remember getting the call, and she's like, hey, we got number 2, we got the second best. It's not an infection, but it's lymphoma. And she said, if this was my child, this would be the diagnosis I want. So, you know, up until that point in time, it was, you know, lacrosse was out of, not even part of the discussion around it. It was just, all right, let's get through it and see what happens next.
Dr. Forlenzo was like, yeah, like this, I'm talking lifelong curability with this. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So it sucks and I'm gonna bother you the whole time about like the time frame, but like I'm gonna be good. And he was like, yeah, you're gonna be good. I don't wanna be bald, like crying in the car, like I can't go through chemo, I can't lose my hair, this is terrible. So weirdly enough, that hurt more in the diagnosis process before the start of treatment.
It's just silence on the phone call. I don't think anyone in a million years would ever think that would happen to someone so young, and especially so close to you.
It's unfair is how I felt for her. I still feel for her. I think when you're 20, 21 years old and have to be dealing with something like this, you know, I want her to be thinking about lacrosse and starting and her boyfriend and school and all of those things, and she has to be thinking about saving her own life.
I started off on like a really positive note. My first chemo was like a half dose of chemo, which interestingly enough is what shrinks the cancer the most. So they go through the first one, they rescan, and then it's like, oh, your tumor shrunk by 40%, which was like 15% more than they were expecting, which is starting off like the worst thing ever on like the highest note you possibly could.
It certainly helped us kind of latch on to that next thing. Okay, that deep breath. All right, we're gonna get through the next piece and we're gonna get through it.
My hair started to fall out. I started to feel really terrible, and that was probably the worst of it. And then once you get through the infection the first time and like everything else is like, oh, I did it once, I can do it again, and now I know what to do.
She finished treatment, she came right back down to school, she got right back on the field, and she worked her butt off.
I never doubted that she would get through this, just because she has such a strong will and such a strong voice, and like just the strength in every aspect of her life just to fight.
And then we come out to practice, and Jordan's like, you're playing? And I was like, yeah, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Of course I'm playing. And I'm like, just like hop on out there. I was just like so excited, warmed up. I'd like just taken like a nice seat at the end of the warm up, like the third goalie. I was like, I'll do whatever. Our assistant coach comes over and she's like, why are you upset? You're going in. And I was like, I am? Like, what? So much to process at once. And then like the switch flips and I'm like, oh my God, I'm playing today. Like, what? And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. I can't feel my toes. Like, I don't know.
Just to have her have the opportunity to step on the field and, you know, like being in New York City where she got the treatment. And I mean, she's a superwoman to be able to have done what she did and overcome, and then have the strength to go and be in a Division I game. And I mean, it's extraordinary. Physically, mentally, emotionally, I mean, everything about it is just extraordinary.
You take a deep breath. Like you say, all I want to do is watch my kid play, you know? So to see her on the field again was amazing. It was great. But I think that really just felt like, hey, you know, that's the first step to whatever comes next.
Awesome. We are all just like so happy for her, because she went through such like a hard thing where like getting back onto the field was like that last step of like closing the door and like leaving it in the past. And we were all just so happy. She even won the game ball for that game. So it was just like great being able to celebrate her again.